Hey guys, you want to see me create a program for athletes, and how do I go about doing that, or if I'm working with an individual. So I thought I'd give you a brief overview of how I would work with, say, a university and a specific sports team. And the example I'm going to use today is the University of Illinois at Springfield's women's softball team. So typically what we do is we have various phases of testing that we do throughout the season, throughout the year. So, for example, the first testing that we did this past year for the UIS softball team, we did it on September 7th, 2012. And what we did is we created a custom testing protocols based on the respective sport, in this case softball, their needs. So we look at, for example, we did a performance test and a movement screen. We did a vertical jump, a 5-10-5 drill, which is basically a lateral quickness drill. Did home to first testing and home to second. We also did a movement screen. We did an athlete scratch test, an overhead squat, and a single leg squat. So essentially what we're looking for movement flaws in the body, in the whole kinetic chain, say in the shoulder, the hips, the back, the knees, common injuries associated with softball, with throwing athletes. So if any particular athlete has a red flag in terms of the movement screen, then we'll note that for each particular athlete. Then for the performance test, we want to kind of get a baseline assessment of what their abilities are at the beginning of the season, or at the beginning when they come back from school. We're determining whether or not they did their homework during the summer months when they had their summer conditioning program. But we also use it to test primarily moving forward, to determine if our programming, say if it's a 4 or 6 week power phase, for example, if we get the results that we want, are they able to improve their explosiveness via the vertical jump or the horizontal broad jump. So if the programming is appropriate, spot on, then we're going to see a bump, a nudge up, an increase in their explosiveness in their vertical, or their 5-10-5, their lateral quickness, which is really important in softball and baseball. So once we have that information gathered and we determine what they can and can't do performance-wise, then we'll go ahead and go about creating the actual program itself. For example, this is the fall conditioning program. This is what we did for them. I usually use Excel spreadsheet, and when I create a program for a particular team or an athlete. If we have to do any customization for an individual athlete, then we'll put in those exercises for that athlete. Maybe they're coming off an ACL reconstruction, maybe they're 9 months post-op. They have some specific exercises they need to do that their athletic trainer wants them to do, or their physical therapist want to do. And typically we know what most athletes need depending on where they are post-injury. If it's rotator cuff or a labral tear, then we'll throw in some of those prehabilitation or post-rehab type exercises to kind of keep them injury-free, or hopefully injury-free, so they don't get hurt again. But each athlete gets this right now, an Excel spreadsheet. We hand this out to them. Additionally, we use freefitnessvideos.com, which is our website that we created, and then we'll create a website, or we'll create a workout for them for each respective team. We'll enter in. We'll name, if it's the UIS softball preseason power phase. Similar to what Josh S. does in terms of how he, has different names for different phases of the season. Our system works a little bit differently in terms of how we add exercises. I'm just randomly picking a bunch of different exercises. But based on the Excel spreadsheet, I'll pick the exercises that I, put down on their workout on their Excel spreadsheet, and then I'll add the videos here, assign the reps, sets, etc. So a little bit different than what Josh does. We have rest intervals or any specific notes that I want to enter, I can do that. But I'll save that, and then we'll send it to them. This is basically what it looks like. So they can get this on their smartphone as well, and if they want to play the video, they can actually do that and get this on their smartphone or their computer or iPad or whatever.
Bird dog. This exercise is going to provide a balance.
So it's similar to what we've done with the Brewers, but you know, this is essentially how I go about doing it. You know, from the actual assessment, you know, the testing, and then the creation of the actual phase of the programming, and then we assign the videos, just somewhere, you know, just like what the Brewers do right now. But and we'll do this throughout the season, throughout the year, depending on, again, what the coach wants and what we want to try to accomplish with the athlete. So that's kind of how we go about doing it. Hope this helps.